All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus Show. I'm Onebar. We got Nick in the house from Just Another Year, Chicago Bears. You guys know his face if you hit up the NFC North roundtable. If you watch any Bears news, Nick is the man. Nick, welcome, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It's an exciting week. I don't know how excited it is for me, but I know it's exciting for you guys. 8-2. But it's at Soldier Field, so any given Sunday. I like what we got this weekend.
Yeah, you're still optimistic. I mean, right out of the gate, like at 4-6, Bears win. Right, spoiler alert, show is over. Out of the gate, is the season over in your mind for the Bears, or is there still a mild glimmer of hope with 6 losses?
You know, I mean, like we were in a worse position last year, and this team came around and won 5 of their last 8 games. So, you know, take that. If the Bears finished 5-3 again in their last 8 games, so that means only 2 more losses and 5 more wins. That's a win in my book, going 9-8. Is the season over? You would think no, because, you know, 4-6, you're like, all right, yeah, there's still plenty of football left. They're only 2 games out of 500, but this is the NFC North. You know, we got you guys, we got the Lions, we got the Packers. Any given Sunday, though, if this team can find a way to work with Thomas Brown like they did last week against the Packers, if the defense keeps doing what they do, we'll see what ends up happening. But right now, it's not looking in the Bears' favor at the moment.
And I got some random questions at the end, just as far as where the Bears are now and where they might be heading. But we got to talk Bears Vikings. First off, DeAndre Swift. What's your gut? Is this dude playing or not?
Yeah, so he was out of practice on Wednesday, was limited on Thursday, told reports yesterday after practice that he's feeling pretty good. So it looked like he got it on one of his big runs against the Packers. You can kind of see him like limping a little bit at the end of the run, but at the end of the day, I think he will be a go. He knows that this is an important game. This is the game that determines if the Bears are going to go all in for the rest of the season, or they're already going to start thinking about drafting in 2025. So DeAndre Swift at the moment is playing this upcoming Sunday for the Bears.
It's horrible news. I don't want that. I want any sort of gimme we can get. I mean, I don't want the dude to be injured, but if he needs an extra week to get better for his health, you know, I'm all for that. So looking at the Vikings defense, top 3 in sacks with 35, first in the league with interceptions with 16. Explain to me how the Bears are going to be able to do anything against this defense. I mean, Caleb Williams gets sacked a ton. I believe he leads the league. Like, how are they going to do? What's going to be their magic wand to do something against this defense?
So Caleb Williams came out on, was it Monday or Tuesday, to the media and said, listen, like, you know, Flores is the king of the cover 0 defense. I believe that was what the exact quote that he said. But I mean, I'm scared for him. Obviously, this Bears offensive line, not very good by any means. The other part of the Bears that they have to worry about with Brian Flores, I mean, you guys have a good secondary too. The entire defense is just absolutely stacked. And 41 sacks so far for Caleb Williams. He's on pace to break another Bears record that you don't want to break, being sacked the most times in a single season. Hopefully last week's Packers game kind of shows, okay, Thomas Brown, our new offensive coordinator, kind of understands how to go against the defense, unlike Shane Waldron that would just let his quarterback get killed. I think that the Vikings definitely are going to make a lot of hell for Caleb Williams. I mean, that offensive line in Chicago is just tough. I mean, they are terrible. The good news for the Bears offensive line, though, is that Tevin Jenkins is coming back this week. He was a full participant in back-to-back practices. So hopefully the Bears have a little bit of extra there. But in order to beat this Minnesota defense, a lot of rollouts, a lot of play action. Otherwise, Caleb's going to be in for a very rough day with that tough Minnesota defensive line.
How different was the offense with your new offensive coordinator? Did they come out and they just got a shot of energy, adrenaline, the fact that they had a changeup, or was the offense like just completely different? Because clearly they put up yards.
Did they lose you? Sorry,
no, you're good.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, can you repeat the question? For some reason,
so their offensive coordinator, the big change. I mean, last week obviously they put up a bunch of yards. They looked like a new offense, pretty much. Was it more scheme wise, or is it more an FU to Shane Waldron? What was it?
Scheme-wise, for sure. There was just a better play plan. Caleb Williams even came out himself and said, like, there was such a better game plan for this past week against the Green Bay Packers. You know, when a play was over, Thomas Brown was already speaking in my ear of the next play of what was going to work and what wasn't going to work. Thomas Brown, also sitting in the box, has a much better vision of the field versus Shane Waldron having to be on the sideline. But Shane Waldron's scheme was, all right, we're going to run something and hope it works. Thomas Brown actually has a game plan walking into the game. He studies various different NFL defenses. I mean, Sean McVay said himself, when he was an assistant head coach in LA, is that Thomas Brown was never not watching film, never not learning about the opponent. That's what made him so effective as a running backs, tight end, and assistant head coach, and why he was the assistant head coach of the Rams. So it was just an overall different game plan. You can tell Caleb likes it. You can tell the wide receivers like it. And that's why Chicago almost raked up 400 yards last week against Green Bay.
All right. Once again, we got Nick from Just Another Year, Chicago Bears. Hit him up. Just dude's over 20,000 subs. Absolutely killing it over there. Go give him a sub. Go give him some hell in the comments, especially if the Vikings win. So I got to ask you this. Spoiler alert. You want Eberflus gonzo. I think it's probably most of Chicago wants him gone. What if Thomas Brown actually looks good going into the final end of the season here? Like, are you just like clean the slate? Thanks for your time, Thomas, but we need a whole new coaching staff. Or do you think he could actually be a guy that they hold on to?
I've gone back and forth on this because of the fact that, there have been reports recently, Bill Belichick linked to the Bears. If Kyle Shanahan gets fired from the 49ers somehow, some way, Bears could be in on him. Ben Johnson of the Lions, a big one too. The only way that Flus is staying is that if Thomas Brown doesn't leave as offensive coordinator. Because Thomas Brown has become a hot name. I can't believe it's only after one game, but, ESPN had it up on the screen as guys that could potentially be next head coaches. Thomas Brown also was considered a head coach before he became Carolina's offensive coordinator. So Thomas Brown would need to do exactly what he did against the Green Bay Packers every single week with Caleb Williams in order for Matt Eberflus to keep his job and stay next year. But otherwise, Matt Eberflus has to go. Clearly he doesn't know how to keep assistants. He has lost some of the locker room. Guys are very frustrated with him, but he is a great defensive coach. No denial of that. Shout out to Flus for a lot of fun games that he's had over the last year or two. But yeah, at the end of the day, if Brown doesn't stay and work with Caleb and can't show the rest of the season that's going to work, Flus has to get canned and we need a clean house.
How are we going to fix this offensive line? I mean, it's such a disaster in my mind. Like when you look at the free agency coming up, it's not like it's overly loaded. I mean, I'm sure you've already done some digging. There are some big names out there, but like this doesn't seem like something you fix in one offseason. And Caleb Williams' clock is ticking. Like, what are they going to do moving forward?
Yeah, there are some big offensive linemen hitting the market this upcoming season, and the Bears have a ton of cap. So expect the Bears to be aggressive in that standpoint, especially because two of them are Kansas City Chiefs. Both were drafted by Ryan Poles when he was there. But the Bears do have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, 2 of them being in the second and one of them being Carolina. So that could be an early pick. But the Bears at the moment, if they're on track, they're going to have a top 5 pick again. And I think that the Bears can go out. They can get a guy like Will Campbell Jr. from LSU. They can go out and get Wyatt Malam from West Virginia. And then on top of it, too, you do have a good guy in Tevin Jenkins that just needs to stay healthy. But center you don't take till later rounds anyway. Bears could use their 3rd round pick on a center. You pick up a guard in free agency, so that's your guards, your centers picked up. Darnell Wright is a second-year guy out of Tennessee. He's not terrible, but he hasn't had an opportunity or any help, so he's been taking on double teams. So if you can get a good right guard in there that was supposed to be Nate Davis, you fix that problem. And Braxton Jones. I mean, there's Bears fans that love this guy. I don't understand why. He has one good block in the Packers game, and everyone's like, "Oh,
good. It was good.
He's the answer." I'm like, no, guys, he's a 5th round pick from a small Division III school, and he's just a big dude that could be a bouncer at a Chicago nightclub. So at the end of the day, I want the Bears to go out and get the best of the best left tackle. I think that they should have used the number 9 pick because we got Keenan Allen before we got Rome. Just boggled how this offensive line was handled. And then Lucas Patrick goes to the Saints and is one of the best centers in football right now. So overall, the Bears, just whoever their head coach is, needs to understand offenses, need to understand offensive lines. And Ryan Poles needs to go out and use all his first couple round picks on offensive linemen.
Give me the lay of land on the defense. Obviously, the defense is one of the Bears' strongest things they got going for them. But like, where have teams taken advantage of them? What's their bread and butter? Give me the scoop.
Bread and butter is a secondary. Almost every single quarterback they've played have had their lowest passing percentage and passing yards game against this Bears secondary. I mean, Jalen Johnson, Kevin Byard, Jaquan Brisker when healthy, but prayers up to him. It sounds like his career might be over. Terrell Smith. I mean, this secondary is just too good to stop. And you have linebackers and Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, which no one's running at them on the outside because everyone's afraid of them. So the best opportunity that the Vikings have against this Bears defense is running it up the middle. We're 24th in rush defense, yet we're top 5 in every other category. So this Bears defense missing Andrew Billings, obviously a huge loss for them earlier this year. And if Minnesota wants to get the job done, just punch it up the gut with Aaron Jones if he is playing this upcoming week. But you have a huge advantage against the run game against this Bears defense.
That might be a double whammy. The Vikings cannot do ass when they run the ball up the gut. Our interior offensive line is so bad, and we try to chuck it outside. They don't go anywhere. So maybe this is, I'm looking at this as a bright spot. Maybe they can finally get an opportunity to get some yards up the middle.
Well, I will have that in my game breakdown tomorrow morning for everybody watching at home, because I did not know that the Minnesota interior line was that bad. But no, that's your best shot. I mean, you have Chris Williams, who was a waiver wire guy that we picked up, Javon Dexter, who was good at the beginning of the season, but everyone double teams him now. So that's your best bet against this tough Bears defense.
All right. How about how's your boy Sweat doing? I mean, his numbers aren't like eye-popping by any means, but in Chicago, everybody's very happy with him.
No, I mean, like, people are definitely frustrated. He's frustrated with himself. Only 3.5 sacks this year so far through 10 games. I mean, yeah, he's got 7 games left to pick it up, and that's where he heated up at the end of last year. But at the end of the day, you're paying a guy $25 million a year. He should be absolutely ripping it up. A lot of people don't realize, though, is that he's had this shin and calf injury for the entire duration of the season. So for a guy to have 10 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hits, 3.5 sacks, and he's playing injured is pretty darn impressive, along with being double teamed nearly every time. You watch game footage, they always have a tight end and a tackle on him. He's still getting by people. And the one time that you saw that he didn't have a double coverage with a tight end blocking him, he had a huge sack on Matthew Stafford. So Montez Sweat is a solid player. It's just that teams have figured him out, and that's why he needed a partner in crime this past offseason. But Darrell Taylor, who we picked up from the Seahawks, is a pretty dangerous pass rusher as well. DeMarcus Walker has started out hot, hasn't done anything since. But Montez Sweat hopefully can get things going against Minnesota. But if they keep double teaming him, I don't see it happening.
All right, a couple more real quick ones, just quick answers, and then we're going to let you go, man. Appreciate you hopping on. Again, links down in the description. Go over there, get Nick's ass a sub. Ryan Bowles, you get his job for an hour. What move you making? Whether that's benching somebody, cutting somebody, extending somebody. What are you doing?
Okay, do I have multiple options or just one?
You got an hour, so hey, you got to drop some contracts.
I got an hour. Okay, I'm firing Matt Eberflus. I'm giving Thomas Brown HC for the rest of the year because this team would actually play behind him. I would also fire Chris Morgan, our offensive line coach, one of the worst in football. Is it like post trade deadline or is this off season?
It's right. It's today.
Oh, right, it's today. Now. Okay, right now, today. I'm walking into the locker room. I'm understanding from my captains exactly what's expected, what isn't expected. And then I'm going out and signing David Bakhtiari for the rest of the year to get some tackle help for this Bears offensive line. Because, again, Darnell Wright is hurt on and off, can't do anything, but that's your best hope. And at least you're giving the fans something. But other than that, Matt Eberflus canned, Chris Morgan canned, and releasing. Ooh, I already released Nate Davis, so I guess that's it. Not too much to do.
Nick's cleaning house, man. He's canning everybody. Nick, don't go work for Nick, man. He ain't dealing with any BS. I love it. Ryan Poles, even if they bring in a new coach, bring in some offensive linemen next year, if it's just a disaster again, like, is he on a short leash or not?
No, he's on a 2-year leash if they give him another opportunity, because you can't just bring in a new head coach for your the quarterback you drafted, new house, and then fire the general manager. So if the Bears don't can Ryan Poles this year, they won't can him for at least another 2 years after that, because they got to see what this team does. They got to see what he does as general manager. He hasn't done a bad job by any means. It's just that, like, some of his misses, the Chase Claypool, the Nate Davis, those have been massive misses. But, he's done a great job with Caleb Rome, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, some of these trades that he's brought in. He's built a solid young team. He just needs a little bit more time. And if he can get the offensive line right, I think he's a very solid general manager.
Second best team in the NFC North.
Whew. Besides the Chicago Bears, right?
I'm taking the Lions out of it, man. You want to put the Bears up there, we can go third best.
No, I think the best team in the NFC North right now, first team would be the Detroit Lions. Second team right now, will determine on Sunday.
Don't do it.
I got the Minnesota Vikings right now as my number 2 power team, my number 2 favorite team for the season right now. Number 1 for the Bears favorite wise, but Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago, Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay showed that they almost lost to us. Pure luck. No penalties gone their way. They cheated technically. And then the Bears were winning all the way to the very, very end. So and also Christian Watson did not catch that ball. I wanted to say that on Roundtable, but he didn't catch it. But yeah, I think the Packers almost losing to the Bears puts them at 4.
Bears-Packers rivalry will never disappoint. How much you guys hate each other. I love everything about it. Keep it coming. Final. Maybe not a score prediction, but who wins on Sunday?
I got the Bears winning on Sunday, man. I'm feeling good about it. I think this is we just saw a trap game last night for the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this could be a trap game for Minnesota. I'm not saying Minnesota won't make the playoffs, though. You guys are a lock for the playoffs, but with how the offense was and also hearing about your offensive line, DeAndre Swift coming back, I think there's a good opportunity for the Bears to at least get 1 win at home on their 3-game homestand.
I think it's going to be close. I keep saying it. Everyone watching keeps telling me I'm an idiot. We're going to kill the Bears. I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's going to be very low scoring and very close. I'm nervous for this one. Vikes are going to get the dub, but I'm nervous.
Oh, man. I think it's going to be – I'm saying the Bears, if they win, it'll be very close as well. I don't think that it's going to be like a bloodbath like we've seen in the past. I think it's going to be a good NFC North matchup.
All right, there you have it. Nick, hit up those links down in the description. Give him a sub. Like I said, he's over 20,000. He's killing it over there. Fantastic content, man. We appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, absolutely. And good luck on Sunday. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about next Wednesday on Roundtable.
Oh, yeah.